Hey Fives folks, today's session is on the importance of your pre-class rituals and helping you to transition into your instructor persona. That's the you that climbs into the saddle and is ready to deliver an awesome experience for your riders. So, what is an instructor persona? It's basically taking the natural parts of who you are and dialing up what it is you want to dial up, and potentially dialing down parts of your personality that you might want to dial down a little bit. Blend those together, that's your instructor persona. For example, there are basically three aspects of my personality that I dial up for class. So one is I'm very organized and I love to be prepared. So the way that comes through in my instructor persona is I start in class on time, very precise. I am always here to greet my riders. They know what to expect from me because I do the same thing every week. The other way that comes through is my profiles and playlists, as you know if you follow Fives folks, they're very precise. There's nothing random about my playlists. They are absolutely aligned to the profile. So there's kind of like preparedness and precision about my personality that comes through for that persona. The second thing is I have a lot of natural energy, very enthusiastic, kind of passionate person, shocking. And I dial that up for my class. So I teach at night. I also teach early in the morning. I am kind of corporate Karen in the day. If I'm teaching at night, I might have a terrible commute here or whatever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I have to put all that away, step into my persona, dial up that enthusiasm, and be ready for my class. And the third part of my personality that I dial up a bit is hitting this balance of really having fun come through in the class while we're adhering to principles. So finding that balance of let's have an amazing, fantastic, fun time, but we're also going to do things right. So there are three examples. If you have ever seen the documentaries, Lady Gaga, Beyonce, where they go from their pre-getting on stage, what they look like, kind of where their energy is. You can see they're starting to get into the zone. They don't have any makeup on. It's this amazing transformation. And then, bam, they step on stage and ready to rock the house. So it's similar to that, maybe not as dramatic, but each of us has a chance to really identify who do I want to be when I'm on this bike so that I can deliver the best experience I can. If you are like, well, I don't really know what my persona is, there's a great podcast on fitnesscareermastery.com. So I'll put it in the notes. There's a great podcast on there about creating and finding your persona. I loved it. So good stuff on that site. Once you have your persona, what are your rituals, your pre-class rituals? That help you kind of transition into being ready to deliver class. Now, you could be super conscious of what these are, but I also find that there are instructors who, they really don't have rituals as much as habits, things that aren't thoughtful, motions that they go through, and you're really missing an opportunity here. A ritual is something that's much more thoughtful than, say, a habit or a routine. So, rituals are primarily driven by three things. One is, what are the rules at your club? Some clubs and studios are very prescriptive and they're very strict. So, for example, here, you'll notice we don't really have like rate of perceived exertion charts or anything taped up, on the walls or anything. But if I wanted to take out an RPE chart, use it for my class, I could certainly do that. And part of like getting that chart, putting it up would be part of my pre-class ritual. Second thing, similar, is logistics. What are the room logistics? So if you have all your electronics here, maybe you have leaderboards, you have a very specific, maybe high-tech way that your room is set up, You might be able to bring some of your rituals to the class, but maybe not others. But the third aspect within the rules and the logistics, it's really your personality. Your personality is really what's driving a lot of these rituals. I will share my rituals with you. So mine actually start before I leave the house. I make sure I have all my electronics are charged. I make sure I have everything. I go through my bag like 6 times, a little compulsive there. As soon as I get into the car, I put on my playlist. It's about a 15-minute drive here. So I just start to get into the flow, get into the groove, start to up my energy, going from being sound asleep to just getting fired up to deliver. As soon as I walk into this room, the first thing I'm doing is actually wiping down this bike, even though I probably don't need to. It's just part of who I am. And I do the setup, get my bike set up. And then immediately, super important, right, is everything working, right? The first thing is music, right? So getting the music geared up, make sure Wi-Fi, if you're using Wi-Fi, is working. Get some music going. I like something it's a little mellow, but it has energy, so I can start to get into the flow, start to transition into that instructor persona. We've got our drawer in here, make sure microphone, the light, we have a very prescriptive way that we transition from full lighting into dim lighting into black lights. It's actually quite cool. Make sure all of that stuff is working, no surprises 2 minutes before class, right? Once all that is done, I make sure that the room is completely tidy. They keep things super clean here, but sometimes there's a random wipe here or there. Make sure that's done. Check my list of who's coming, kind of see who signed up for the day. And then I get my handy MacGyver bag because it has absolutely everything you could possibly need in here. And I start to do my setup. I've got my water bottle. I'm not a fan of having stuff up on here except for my profile. So luckily I have this and I use that. So water bottle, I get my shoes on. I do wear glasses. Don't like to wear them when I'm riding, but I get them set up here just in case. And something that our club has, you might have this as well. These are awesome. These little lights, I get this, clip it on here, so that when all the lights go on down and I have the black light, I can still read my profile. I have my headbands. I'd like to pick out for the day. I have like 20 pairs of socks. So anyone who tries to get out of my class because they forgot their socks, that doesn't work. I have plenty of those. I'm also not a fan of bulky towels. So I have a big pile of bandanas and kind of love picking out the color for the day. I put those right there. And the other thing about my instructor persona, I love to put on tights that are just full of color and energy to really help me kind of get into, it's like my superhero look. Timer and profile, last two things. Do get questions about this. So let me just share that quickly. We have meters, right? And I know so many of you do as well, which is awesome. So you can either use the timer on my meter, or I have my original iPhone. Yes, I do. So I use this, run the timer, and I have this set right here. So the final part of my setup, my rituals, is arguably the most important, and that is my profile. So I have all my profiles in my bag. I get out the one for that day. Here's what my profiles look like. If you follow 5 Spokes, you're familiar with this. I have my playlist on one side. I have my profile on the other. When I print this out at home, I fold it in half. Like I said, I'm pretty meticulous. So I cut it, tape it, and I have this nice, neat piece of paper. It fits perfectly right here. So then I take my bag, get it out of the way. Nobody wants to see that, right? Get on my bike and get microphone on my head, see if there's anything else missing, do final details. So that's my ritual. Those rituals help me get ready for Karen Instructor Persona. We would love to see and hear what you do, so leave comments, maybe take a picture of your setup, share it with 5 Spokes. We would love that. So, to recap, your instructor persona is the you that when you get on this bike, you want to show to your riders to deliver the best class possible. That entails dialing up parts of your personality, perhaps dialing down others. And then your rituals help you transition into that persona and get ready for class. So, as always, thanks for tuning in. Stay awesome.